All right. Hi, my name is Travis Lindsay, and I am here for the Center for Entrepreneurship at Cal State Fullerton. And with me today is Elianne Rodriguez. She is the director at LEEAF, which stands for the Los Angeles Economic Equity Accelerator and Fellowship. Love the acronym, good acronym, and it makes sense. Elianne, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So yeah, Elianne Rodriguez. I serve as a director for the Los Angeles Economic Equity Accelerator Fellowship. We're currently hosted at Cal State LA. I also wear a couple of other hats, just like most entrepreneurs that I'm sure are listening. I'm also a managing partner for List Ventures, which is an access to capital firm supporting first-time entrepreneurs and underrepresented entrepreneurs access capital or actually get to the money they need to start their business. I'm also a small business advisor for the LA Regional SBDC Network or Small Business Development Network. So I work across different colleges and counties, actually, LA County, Ventura, Santa Barbara, helping small business entrepreneurs start, grow, pivot their businesses. I mean, whatever they need. I'm just, a generalist. So I help with a lot of that. But yeah, really excited to be here today.
Yeah, and I'm like you in that I'm also a generalist, jack of all trades, master of none sort of situation for myself. Speaking about helping entrepreneurs, I mean that's something that we're all passionate about.
Yes.
How do you see the state of entrepreneurship for the entrepreneurs that you're working with in SoCal?
Yeah, so it's really, really interesting, right? So previous to my current role, I worked in tech for a couple of years and am familiar with like ecosystems in other areas, right? Like the Northern California, Silicon Valley, New York, Austin. And I think what's really something that I'm passionate about and I really, really love about working in Southern California is that we are coming up with some of the most innovative products and solutions to some of the toughest problems, right? We're piloting and really pioneering things that other people are like, not quite ready for. So I think if you're thinking about, launching a business, creating a product, creating software, building a tech company, whatever it is, Southern California is really the place to test whether that will be, fruitful, productive, viable. And also, I think it's also the place where you can learn the most and you can get the most amount of help at the earlier stages. I think other places are a lot more competitive. They're a little bit more challenging to maybe access resources. In LA, especially, right, and in Southern California, you can ask for help and people will be like, you know what, I'm not the right person, but let me connect you with someone. Or actually, I don't know anything about that, but this group does. We're so we cover so many different industries. We have so many different access points that I think it's kind of the best place to start a business and really figure out if it's going to be something that you want to do, for the time being.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely know. So I moved out to Austin, Texas a couple of years ago, but before that, the first 36 some odd years of my life, I was in Southern California. I worked at Cal State Fullerton, Center for Entrepreneurship there, venture fund as well. And one of the things that I noticed about the ecosystem that we built up, especially around Cal State Fullerton, is how open and generous everybody is with their time. And people who've either they're just starting out or they've worked for decades in all industries, like you said. They're there to be mentors, guest speakers, whatever the case may be, and that's why we're so excited that you guys are involved with one of the upcoming events that we're partnering on is SoCal Celebrates Entrepreneurship. So can you give everybody who's watching a little rationale from you about why you joined?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, like I'm a big advocate for collaboration. I think, being in such a big ecosystem, it doesn't make sense for any of us to be doing anything alone, right? And so trying to cover the region, it can be really challenging. when this particular project came about, right, when they were like, we've been doing the celebration of entrepreneurship for a couple of years now, but now we want to expand it and we want other regions to be part of it. I was like, yes to celebrating entrepreneurship, yes to collaborating with the rest of my educational partners, yes to like bringing up and or highlighting the success stories that are happening across Southern California. So for me, it was like it was a yes all around. And it was also really an opportunity also to challenge a little bit of like how we're perceiving entrepreneurship. I think we have a really good grasp on highlighting the unicorn companies and highlighting the folks that are just like, yes, everyone knows about them. But for me, it's more about how do we highlight more community-driven businesses, and how do we make sure that there's representation in a lot of these stages, right? So I came in with the lens of like, can I put more, Black and brown females up on the stage? Can I highlight, our tiny little East LA like community hub that is, just doing really great things for, the 10 miles around them. So for me, it's just more about when I think about access and representation, it's about seeing somebody that looks like you, that you could picture yourself being. And so for me, when this opportunity came about, I was like, yes. And with that lens of like, how can we highlight more of the local entrepreneurs so that others are inspired, so that others feel seen, and that we continue to celebrate what I think the cloth of what Southern California is.
Yeah, and that is something that I think escapes the more passive viewer of entrepreneurship and business in general. I mean, all the focus goes to those unicorn businesses, the ones that get valuations of $1 billion or more, and things like being in stealth mode is romanticized in the startup world. It's like there's the talented team of engineers that are going out and doing R&D and creating something that they're going to just one day launch into the world, and it's going to be worth $100 billion. Right. That's like a fraction of a percentage of all businesses that are started, and the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem in Southern California, and in many other parts of America, like you said, but especially in Southern California, it's very bright, vibrant, and it's growing, and so that's why we're extremely happy to be working with you guys and a number of other companies, other educational institutions, yes, on SoCal Celebrates Entrepreneurship. So who do you think should attend this event?
Well, anybody that is either interested or has had an idea about, I wanted to run a business, or I've been thinking about what it would be like to be my own boss, right? Or any of those like taglines of what entrepreneurship we hear about, but also folks that are just interested in meeting other interesting folks. I think there is definitely a path to entrepreneurship. So if they want to start, grow their own business, that's definitely one path. But I think there's also this entrepreneurship, right? Like if you're just somebody that likes creating solutions for problems, that likes collaborating with other folks, and just want to find a network of curious and passionate folks, this is actually a really good place to kind of hang out, right? Even if you're not starting your own company, even if you're not thinking about that, but you're like, I just want to work somewhere where they're building cool things, or I want to work somewhere that is like mission driven, or I want to work for someone that gets the community part. I think this is a really great event to just meet some of those folks. I don't necessarily think that everyone should be an entrepreneur, but I think everyone has that curiosity bone in them to really support and or be part of another company, right? Sometimes you just find that one person that you're like, man, that person really has vision, really has passion, and I just want to be with them. I don't necessarily, doesn't have to be my idea, but like I have something to contribute to that, right? And I say this all the time across the different spaces that I'm in, where I say talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. And sometimes you just need to meet the right person to put your talent to use. And again, it doesn't have to be, if you are that entrepreneur, if you are that leader, if you are that person that says, I want to do something, I want to build something, I want to start something, that's amazing. But if you're not, and you just want to be part of something great, something that, gives you direction, that's also a really great opportunity. And I think this event brings all of those folks together.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And you know what? Maybe not everybody is an entrepreneur. I mean, and that's true, of course. Not
Yeah,
everybody wants to be, can be an entrepreneur. It's just for whatever reason. But everybody's life is really shaped by entrepreneurs. All the
yeah,
stuff that we create, all the businesses that are created by entrepreneurs. I'm not going to put myself in that category. I don't think I really belong there just yet. But yeah, I mean, entrepreneurs they shape the future.
yeah.
So now you're an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. You've worked on the investment side, the education side. I mean, you have a wealth of experience to draw upon for this really important question. What advice do you give to students or maybe people who are thinking about changing course and really embracing the entrepreneurial path?
Yeah. So my top two like pieces of advice, and this specifically goes for, folks that are like, in the process of like figuring out what's next, or figuring out if this is a journey they want to take, is one, ask for help. And this is very hard for a lot of folks, right? Myself included. But I've learned that you have to ask for help, and you have to ask for people's time and experience, right? Like I think you mentioned that earlier. Like people are willing to give you time and experience, take it, say yes to it. So I want to say like a couple months back, somebody said to me, you need to ask for help twice as many times as you are willing to give somebody a hand. And that really resonated with me, because I'm a yes person. I'm like, oh, they're like, we're doing this XYZ, and I'm like, sure, let's see what that looks like, right? And I'm willing to help, but it's really hard for me to ask for help. So I think if you're thinking about, this journey, like ask away and say, hey, I'm thinking about XYZ. Do you have any time, or you have, 30 minutes coffee, virtual coffee, right? That we can chat about what I've been thinking. And then number two, I would say, build relationships. So a lot of people talk about networking, and I talk about building relationships. Whether they are, if you're talking to somebody that in regards to your career, in regards to starting your business, whatever it may be, I think it's really good when you take that extra step and you're building an actual relationship that is maybe not related to the original reason why you were, talking to somebody. So connect with people at a more personal level, at a more non-transactional level. So, are you into art? Are you into sports? Are you into, are you a foodie? Are you, do you like, visiting breweries, right? Whatever that may be, whenever you attach something that is more personal, and when you're talking to folks, your networking really turns into relationship building, and those relationships are really the ones that kind of take you further, and it doesn't have to feel so awkward or so transactional. So build relationships and ask for help. I think those are my two pieces of advice.
I love that. That's great advice, and it dovetails nicely. I think it was Ben Franklin who was talking about, if you want to get somebody on your side, ask them for help about something.
Yes.
And I think just psychologically, you ask somebody, maybe somebody who's a CPA or a veteran entrepreneur for some advice or help, or that virtual coffee that you talked about. They'll be happy to give that help and talk with you for 15 minutes. But beyond that, I mean, it makes them mentally invested in what you're doing
Yes.
also. So that's
Exactly.
that's tremendous advice. Well, Elianne, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the SoCal Celebrates Entrepreneurship events. That's going to be on March 9th, 2024 at the Titan Student Union at Cal State Fullerton. And do you have anything else to share?
No, I'm excited to see you guys in March, and I'm excited to continue to work in this ecosystem.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Elianne.
Thank you.